Hello, I am Jackson Highsmith on behalf of BCC Research, and today we will discuss the Tarceva market forecast that discusses patient volume and total market value on a worldwide basis. Importantly, please refer to the disclaimer at the end of this video for important information regarding rights and privileges. To begin, we'll discuss the agenda. We'll first talk about the benefits of a forecast model for lung cancer and Tarceva. We'll talk about what drug treatments are available. We'll discuss why Tarceva is important, and then compare Iressa versus Tarceva and a head-to-head comparison of therapies. Talk about drivers and constraints in the market for non-small cell lung cancer treatment, and then discuss the model in detail. To start, what are the benefits of a forecast model for lung cancer, and in particular, Tarceva? Lung cancer is the leading cancer killer in both men and women in the United States and worldwide. In 1987, it surpassed breast cancer to become the leading cause of cancer deaths in women, according to the CDC. Today, 159,000 Americans are expected to die from lung cancer, approximately accounting for 27% of all cancer deaths. In 2012, over 1.6 million people worldwide died from lung cancer. The largest cause of lung cancer is smoking. Smokers are up to 26 times more likely than non-smokers to develop lung cancer, and 70% of lung cancer deaths are caused by smoking, according to the American Cancer Society. There are a number of different types of non-small cell lung cancer. The three core definitions are adenocarcinoma, which is found in the outer area of the lung. Number two, squamous cell carcinoma, which is found at the center of the lung and investigated via an air tube. The third, large cell carcinoma, which can be found in any part of the lung and importantly spreads faster than the other two forms, albeit it is less common. Non-small cell lung cancer is the most prevalent form of lung cancer overall, accounting for up to 87% of all lung cancer cases that occur in North America. It's represented when cancerous cells form within the lung tissue of the human body. There are multiple progressively dangerous and increasing in rate of mortality stages of non-small cell lung cancer. The first stage has an approximate average 5-year survival rate of just under 50%. These stage 1 characteristics are determined by a small tumor, approximately 3 centimeters or less, and there appears to be no spreading to the lymph nodes. Stage 2 is a progression of stage 1 and has many of the same characteristics as stage 3. However, the survival rate as of stage 3 is reduced to an average of 14% on a 5-year horizon. As of stage 3 classification, the cancer is spread to the lymph nodes, and the tumor is also spreading away from the primary tumor site. However, the tumor, by and large, remains on one side of the chest. Treatment for stage 1 and 2 is typically surgery and to resect the tumor, as well as stage 2 and 3 radiation, and in stage 3 drug therapy. Stage 3B is an advancement and is noted by a significant demarcation from stage 4, where the tumor has progressed to the other side of the lung and also away from the primary tumor site. This cancer at stage 3B has approximately a 5% chance of survival on a 5-year time horizon. Stage 4 is the most aggressive. Cancer from the lung has spread to other organs of the body, and drug therapy is one of the fundamental means of pursuing remediation of the disease. Of these successive stages of non-small cell lung cancer, non-small cell lung cancer has one of the lowest 5-year survival rates amongst all cancers at approximately 15%. What drug treatments are available? Consistent with data presented previously, non-small cell lung cancer is a deadly disease. Over a 5-year survival rate across all 4 stages, an average of 15% of patients survive. This is the lowest among all cancers and indeed among many diseases. What treatments are available to address non-small lung cancer? What drug treatments are available? Arising from the cost of treatment and impact on survival, first-line treatment is chemotherapy in either monotherapy or combination approach. Currently, all first-line therapies are generic in nature and are almost always followed by second-line treatment, provided first-line therapy is not effective. For first-line therapy, cisplatin-based chemotherapy with a dosing cycle is generally preferred. Carboplatin can be substituted for cisplatin if contraindications exist, and non-platinum-based regimens are also indicated for first-line treatment where platinum-based chemotherapy is contraindicated. Of all the second-line therapy available, the most widely prescribed drug is Tarceva. Tarceva generated just under $1.5 billion in revenue last year, the largest of any patent-protected therapy in the segment. Second-line chemotherapy is now accepted as a standard treatment option and is offered to patients with good performance status and where platinum-based first-line chemotherapy fails. In addition to effectiveness, EGFR mutation for epidermal growth factor receptor is identified for Tarceva patients. As a tablet, Tarceva can be taken in nearly any setting, and this route of administration importantly allows for hospital or home treatment. Therapy for care for patients with non-small cell lung cancer, as described for first-line therapy, typically includes one or more of cisplatin. Drug therapies from stage 3A through stage 4 range from first-line therapies as described for cisplatin, inclusive of carboplatin, in varying levels of frequency and duration depending on the stage. Paclitaxel, which is marketed as Taxol, is also a common platinum-based therapy. Duration of first-line therapy is typically ranging from 4 to 6 cycles, and that is a similar time horizon per administration as second-line therapy. Second-line therapies are typically branded drugs, also most of which are intravenously administered, with the notable exception of Tarceva and Iressa. More later to compare these two latter mentioned drugs. Targeted therapy has become a routine treatment option for second-line administration. The most widely used treatment that involves targeting patients is a class of drugs referred to as tyrosine kinase inhibitors. Research studies have shown that patients tested for mutations to EGFR have a higher response rate to the TKI class of therapy than non-EGFR mutated patients. Today, targeted therapy drugs are not yet given in combination. However, clinical trials are currently ongoing to document and demonstrate the efficacy of these various combinations. EGFR in lung cancer is a notable advancement for targeted therapy and an aspect that differentiates Tarceva as a therapeutic care for patients. EGFR, again, or epidermal growth factor receptor, is a protein that extends across the cell membrane. The EGF binds to part of the receptor protein on the outside of the cell. This binding leads to the activation of the EGFR protein, which triggers a complex signaling cascade within the nucleus of the cell that leads to events including accelerated cell growth and division and development of metastases. Thus, tumor growth occurs and spreads to other parts of the lung and eventually, if unarrested, to other parts of the body. Some non-small cell lung cancer tumors have activating mutations in the EGFR gene, which changes the structure of the EGFR protein such that they have increased activity and thus drive increased tumor growth. Why is Tarceva, in particular as an EGFR mutation-focused therapy, important? Today, Tarceva and Iressa are the only second-line treatments available in tablet form. All others must be administered by an IV. Because a tablet can be taken in nearly any setting, this route of administration allows for a range of modalities of how it can be administered, both in the hospital or in home treatment. For a variety of reasons, principally patient compliance and quality of life, treatment outside of a hospital is significantly preferred. Patient welfare increases as well as the cost of treatment is reduced. As a result, it's clear that tablet form versus intravenous is a preferred route of treatment for second-line therapy in non-small cell lung cancer. As a result, Tarceva and Iressa have an advantage over other IV formulations of second-line therapy. Why Iressa versus Tarceva? The principal difference between these two therapies is survival benefit. In late 2004, a drug trial called ICEL showed that Iressa did not significantly prolong survival in the overall study population, measured on a median basis of 5.6 months versus 5.1 months for Iressa and placebo, respectively. As a result, the company that marketed Iressa, AstraZeneca, withdrew its EMEA application to treat patients with Iressa. However, a follow-on study compared Tarceva with one prior chemotherapy failure versus placebo, and showed a demonstrated improvement rate of survival of 6.7 months versus 4.7 months. As well, in contrast to the ICEL results for Iressa, Tarceva appears to prolong survival for most other patient subsets, including never smokers and some specific patient populations by geography. The sample size in some of these studies is too small, however, to draw a definitive conclusion. Nonetheless, Tarceva is generally accepted as the most effective second-line treatment for non-small cell lung cancer. Clinical data has supported the use of Tarceva in first-line patients who have EGFR mutations. More about Tarceva. Tarceva is a once-daily oral non-chemo treatment for the treatment of advanced or metastatic non-small cell lung cancer. Tarceva is a registered trademark of OSI Pharmaceuticals, which is a subsidiary of Astellas. Tarceva is marketed by Genentech, Roche, and Astellas on a global basis. The fundamental pivotal phase 3 clinical trial that demonstrated Tarceva's superiority to chemotherapy in EGFR activated mutations showed that Western patients who have an EGFR mutation with administering first-line Tarceva regimen nearly doubled the median progression-free survival. And the data showed 9.7 versus 5.2 months and more than tripled the response rate at 58% versus 15% as compared to chemotherapy. It was on these significant advancements in clinical therapy that Tarceva was approved. Overall drivers and constraints in the market for non-small cell lung cancer treatment. Many of the drivers for lung cancer, and specifically non-small cell lung cancer, are an increasing healthcare expenditure and coverage of care. This is particularly true in non-developed countries. There is an increasing population, and as life expectancy rises, an increasing aging within that population that also grows. There is the capability to increase price of branded drugs in some markets, in particular the 7 major markets, including the US, Japan, and many of the Western European countries. Overall, market rise can occur due to drugs in the pipeline increasing the patient population in the long run, and patent expiration increase the opportunity for patient administration on a generic drug as cost is reduced while drugs go from branded to generic. Some constraints of the marketplace is that there's a low early diagnosis of patients, in particular in these emerging and frontier countries where increasing coverage of care is provided. There is a very high expense relative to branded drug treatment, and smoking rates in both adults and under 18-year-olds are reducing, thankfully. Although drugs have shown an increase in prolonged survival, there's a modest efficacy of these new drugs relative to generic low-cost therapies that offer traditionally a first-line therapy. Now to move to the Tarceva model forecast. Now to discuss the market forecast model for Tarceva. The total market forecast is calculated annually through the year 2030. The total market dollar value forecast is broken down by volume, designated by the number of patients, and value, which is US dollars on a nominal basis. Both patient volume and market dollar value are broken down by major markets, which include the United States, Europe, Japan, China, Asia, Africa and Australia, the Middle East, and Latin America. Value is calculated by multiplying the volume of patients receiving Tarceva by the price of Tarceva on a per year basis. To determine patient volume, Tarceva looks at the model to assume a series of factors that deliver ultimately the patient volume. Each region described previously is assessed independently due to varying values for various elements of the model. The first variable is population, and that population is segmented down by age, gender, and smoker status. Each of these variables is forecasted over time on an annual basis through the forecast period. From this population demographic, incidence rates for new cases of lung cancer are projected based on data by region. These incidence rates determine the number of new patients on an annual basis that are expected to contract lung cancer. These population demographics provide estimates that are influenced by assumptions including smoker status and causative effects as described, specifically age and gender. The number of patients that are diagnosed is then determined. Once a diagnosis population is found, that patient population is then applied to an assumed prescription rate for the therapy from the population of non-small cell lung cancer patients. Once a prescription occurs for a patient population volume, the first-line therapy treatment populations are quantified, as well as refractory, non-responding patients to first-line therapy are also quantified. From that first-line therapy population, regardless of whether they receive treatment or not, a mutation rate for EGFR is applied. That determines the number of patients by population that have EGFR mutations, and then a conversion factor of how many patients that may receive Tarceva is determined. The patient calculation volume model is determined for each of these regions, and for each of these variables described, there is a specific assumption that is applied. As a result, the volume of patients receiving Tarceva is modeled on a regional basis. After calculating volume, the pricing is applied on a per country or region, as the case may be, in local currency. Foreign exchange rate conversion from local currency to US dollars is completed via forecasted FX rate to US dollar conversions through the forecast period. Finally, the patient population by region is applied to the price per region, and the total market value is arrived at in US dollars. For more information about this model, please contact BCC Research at the phone number you see described, area code 70. If you have an interest in learning more about this model or would like to purchase this model, please contact BCC Research at area code 781-489-7301 or email at sales@bccresearch.com. BCC Research takes no responsibility for any information supplied to us by third-party sources. Quantitative market information is based primarily on domain knowledge in a changing marketplace, as well as interviews, and therefore is subject to fluctuation. It is acknowledged that when viewing, ordering, or downloading, that BCC Research's products are for the customer's internal use and not for general publication or disclosure to any third parties. No part of this presentation may be given, lent, resold, or disclosed to non-customers without written permission from BCC Research.